this topic that we're going to talk about now is the whole idea of marriage versus the actual wedding. In today's society now, it's more towards like, do women actually want a wedding, or do they actually take marriage serious?
Mm.
And when you go into marriage, you're one now. You know, spiritually one with that other person. God. You're dealing with God at that point with marriage now, and a lot of individuals, I guess, are going into marriage not really thinking that or having that mindset. They want the what comes with the wedding. They want the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
the nice time, the dancing. Got to be this way, got to be that way. X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what their focus is, and you see big name, big status people like Kim K, for an example. She had about 3 weddings, and after the Kanye, um, she posted something like she would like to have another wedding or marriage, she says. But is it the marriage, or is it just the idea of being married again?
Mm.
The nice dresses, just the whole attention behind that. Um, so yeah, it's like this is what we come to now. Like, what are we really prioritizing now? All right.
Mm.
So, what you think on that?
I almost want to take a step back. As far as, yeah, a lot of women, it's about the wedding, but to some, I think it's even more so just about the ring as a
Mm,
status thing, right?
mm,
I got a ring and you didn't, or I joined a
mm.
club of exclusive women who got a ring.
So
Yeah,
validation thing. Okay.
perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is a validation,
Mhm.
right? I made it. I got something that statistically, you know, um, just black women, the
Mhm.
majority aren't married.
Mm.
So you join something that's not the norm. So now you feel a little better than your counterparts.
Mhm.
And as much as people, I'm so happy for you. They want that too.
Right.
It's it may not be like a fully like jealousy, but it's something that you do want.
Right.
So I think a lot of them want to have that experience.
Mhm.
They want to have quote unquote their day,
Mhm.
not not both of you, but they
Mhm.
want to have their day,
The
right?
glamour. Yep.
They want
Yep.
they want all eyes on them. They want the spectacle of it. They want the
Mhm.
presents, the gifts, and
Mhm.
everything that goes along with it. But they don't really. They almost it's just like a second thought, but about the actual marriage
Mhm.
and what the marriage means. So you were saying, you two become one.
Mhm.
So it's almost like they're not looking for the right one. They're looking for the that person at that time that can give them that,
Mm.
and they're not thinking
Mhm.
long term commitment to each other. It's like a microwave society.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head right now, but the divorce rate amongst us, it got to be high.
Yeah, I mean,
Just because,
average is 50%. So I don't even know where
yeah,
ours is.
I would say that's high.
Yeah. Hmm.
And going back to how we view marriage now, is it really going into marriage? Because at the end of the day, marriage is a gift from God,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And just speaking on that spiritual aspect now, it's like, all right, when you marry, you're bound to the law of marriage until one of you guys die, pass away.
Hmm.
Like, that's the word adultery, exists for a reason.
Yep.
You can't be divorced, right?
Hmm.
God is against divorce. You can see that in the scriptures. But not too many people go into marriage with their mindset or the counsel, and they go into that thinking they probably don't intentionally think of a microwave thing, but that's what
Hmm.
it is. They don't have that fear of God. Anything that goes super sideways in a marriage, all right, divorce. You know,
Yeah.
my husband broke. divorce,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yep.
guy, my wife not really getting it done for me, sexually, divorce,
Yep.
adultery, stuff like that. So I think people need to have more of a conscience of like, what do you really, of course everybody wants to have their day and there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be mindful of like what comes behind that day, and are you ready for that? So
Agreed. But think about it in this context. I think people are more superficial than they are deep. So I think people are more about the glitz and glamour than the meaning of marriage and what it takes to be married.
yeah.
They want their day, they want the spotlight, but they don't want what comes along with it after the fact, the work. And
Yeah.
that's what scares people off.
I mean, that's why the divorce rate is what, 50%, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That backs that up.
unfortunately, people get married for the wrong reasons. I don't know what you equate to as the right reason, but 50%, I would say, aren't doing it for the right reasons. It's not an easy venture, but you can't just think about it, the actual wedding. And that's, I think a lot of people honestly think about it. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have this great wedding. And if it doesn't work, I'll get a divorce. It could be a month or it could be a year into it. And that's how they view it. They don't view it as this is a lifelong commitment. This is, I'm going to have my day. One way or another, I'm going to have my day. And if it don't work out, cool, whatever.
I'll
Keep
find
it moving.
somebody else, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll start that process over again. Like Kim, that you just used as an example, is insane. But I don't know if there are some people that are in love with the idea of being in love, but I don't know if that's real because it's not authentic. If you keep getting married constantly, and she's not old, and she's already been married,
Yeah, well,
what,
she's
3-4
40s.
times?
Yeah.
Don't you say that's old. But
You said that's not old. I'm like, I was agreeing. I'm like,
yeah, I'm
what,
playing
early
with you.
40s, man? Yeah.
Right. It's like,
Yeah, that's not
but
old.
no, but man, you got me. But point being is like, you've already been married and divorced this many times already. You really don't view marriage the same way I do, because it's just something to do in that moment for you.
Right. No, seriously.
That's a season for you.
Seriously.
That's what that means to you. But I think there are people that there are people that have to attach to somebody because they can't be by themselves and they want to be married. So even though they know this may not be the perfect situation for me, this may be my best chance to get married. And they'll go through with it because of that.
It's weak-minded,
It is.
Yeah.
No, it is, but like it's sad because I like talking to older men. They like, I was like, dude, there's not, what's out here. All right, she may not be the best, but what's out here. It's a form of settling. Because something in you has to die in order for you to accommodate this thing.
Right.
And that's not like a happy life. And I think that also plays a part in why that 50% exists. Because that's not sustainable.
Yeah, superficial, like you said. But it's like, besides the fact that they want like this specific day or their wedding day to go like this, a lot of other factors probably go into that as well. The superficial things like probably finances. Oh, this guy has a lot of money. I'm definitely going to get my day, or I'm going to be set. But they probably not that in love with him.
Correct.
The love of money, price, took over their actual love for that individual. And of course, finances are important, but
Mm-hmm.
that should never into marriage. That should never, overtake your love of that your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
when that happens in a marriage where the financial aspect of it becomes a problem, well then maybe that's why I really don't know what or why the divorce rate is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that factor, but I'm pretty sure money comes into it as a high percentage of maybe why.
Uh,
Um, mm,
money, I believe, is the number one reason why most people get divorced.
mm,
Uh, money. Oh man, I knew it before. It's money. Uh, lack of communication.
mm,
Uh, lack of sex.
mm,
So someone's probably cheating. They're not talking to each other anymore because they weren't probably on that level anyway.
mhm.
And also money. So yeah, those are the three main reasons why people end up in divorces. So like you basically just spoke on the money aspect.
Mhm.
That's major. But think about this though. Why do people spend so much on one day? Because it's
I
a
don't get it.
spectacle.
Yeah,
It's a spectacle. You're
yeah.
putting on a show. You're talking like 20,000 to $100,000.
Mm,
That's a down payment on a house.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
starting a
definitely.
business.
Hmm.
That's buying a car. Buying, not leasing, not
Hmm.
renting. That's buying things.
Right.
But why? It always amazes me that I don't want to say broke people, but people financially not in the best situation can find the means to have like a $30,000 wedding, but y'all broke.
Right.
Where'd you get this money, and why didn't you put it towards something else?
Hmm.
Why didn't you get yourself out of debt,
Mm,
or why didn't you get an asset or something?
hmm.
But you got to put on that show. You got to show everybody else that you're living this glamorous life for this day.
Validation.
Yeah, caring what other people think is dangerous.
Yeah, that's why it's really important to know who you're marrying
Mm-hmm.
because going back to what you said, if you're not in the best financial situation, that shouldn't really stop you from being married. But what
Mm-mm.
stops a lot of people is wanting to have that big day, that 20 to $100,000 day, and if that's the case, then you really need to evaluate, who you're marrying.
Mm.
If that's going to be that breaking point as to why they're not being married.
Mm.
Um, that's not to say that a low budget wedding can't still be nice and stuff like that, because going back into the tensions of why you marrying that person, it should really have nothing to do with money, which is superficial,
Thank
like you
you.
were just saying.
Yep.
So,
It's not about the money. Like it could be something totally different, but you guys both liked, and it's elegant to you. It doesn't matter, and that's the whole thing.
hmm.
Most people after they get married, I've talked to multiple people after the fact, and they're always asking me, "What'd you think about it? What'd you think about the food? What'd you think about?" Because it's about people's perception
Hmm.
of you on that day. That's not what it should be about.
Hmm.
But okay, taking another step back, you're already married
Hmm.
before the quote unquote wedding.
Hmm.
So you further prove the point that this is a show
Hmm.
because it's already done.
Right.
Those papers are already signed. What are we talking about right here?
Yeah.
This is glitz and this is Hollywood right here. This
Hmm.
ain't real. We already signed these papers.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody, long as you're not hurting yourself financially,
Hmm.
and you're doing it because both of you want that, and both of you have talked about like this is how we're going to go about doing it, and it's not so much about well we need to do this because this person's going to say something or they're
Yeah.
going to like why is somebody else's influence in this scenario
Exactly.
supposed to be between you two, but
Exactly.
like I said, it's glitz and glamour, for the most part.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with having a wedding, but just don't hurt yourself to get it.
Exactly. You gotta live within your means.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, that is difficult for people to do.
Right.
It's like-
Yeah. I mean, like you said, going back to the fact that I'm married now, and we live within our means. Like we don't have it right now financially. Like we're not in the best place right now where we want to be. So we got married at the house officially.
Mhm.
You know, we wasn't trying to be one of those people to be like, "Damn, we having it at the house. No, we can't do that. We got show them." Like no,
Right.
like, I
Right.
mean, we're still planning to have an actual ceremony,
Mhm.
but even that is we're not looking to be on this high scale or like, hey, look at us. It's like we still gonna live or do it within our means. You
Mhm.
know, I still want to have it a nice day for it, but at the same time being realistic.
Right.
So
It's an event you want to have that you share with your friends or family, your close friends or
yeah,
family on this day that, share in this.
hmm
So it's not about doving out all this money
right,
to try to perpetrate something. It's just like, all right, y'all close and I just want to share this experience with y'all.
hmm
That's what it should be about. But,
hmm
oh, he needs to spend this amount on the ring. He needs to spend this amount at the wedding.
hmm
The cake's got to be like $10,000. It's
and then God forbid it's not the ring that they want.
that's a whole
Or
different.
they think of
That's
it
a
as,
whole
oh, he
different
got me
thing.
this cheap ring,
Yo, that's a whole different drawing right there. Like
Yeah.
that always amazes me when if I hear a woman say that, like he got me this ring, but I don't really like it. I never told him. I was like, all right, at least I can kind of respect that one that you didn't tell him that,
hmm
but you still behind his back telling. Like, should it
Yeah.
really be about the ring?
So, all right. Well, I'm married. I'm not wearing no ring, right? So,
Oh man, here we go.
like, no, but perfect example though, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just said, she doesn't like the ring, going behind her husband's back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the real purpose of marriage?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, if people want to wear rings, by all means, go ahead. But that's more so a society thing. Like, that's never,
That's industry right there.
yeah.
They weren't giving out rings back in
Yeah, like in
biblical
the,
times.
yeah, in the scriptures, it's never required of you
Mm-hmm.
guys to wear a ring because at the end of the day, again, superficial. A ring has nothing to do with your union with God.
Mm-mm.
It's just a society thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. A lot of people ask me like, "Oh, wow, you crazy for not getting her a ring, this and that." But it's like you wouldn't ask a Muslim person that, like, because they don't wear. Well, they're not supposed to.
Right.
But you don't question them. But because I say I strive to be a Christian, live
Mm-hmm.
this lifestyle, and Christians say they find comfort in that, and they think there's nothing wrong with that,
Mm.
and they say, "Well, you're crazy, why you not getting your wife a ring? Or is she okay with that?" I'm married, right? Like,
Right.
So it's just a lot of things society brainwashed us into thinking that you have to have this superficial thing, and because of that,
Mm-hmm.
we get into this mindset now of thinking superficially as opposed to actually going into it thinking, all right, this is what marriage is really supposed to be about. Not the superficial stuff, but the deep stuff you was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And, a little PSA for people. If you're on the first date,
mhm.
have a conversation. Like, yo, are you
Yeah.
into like a big wedding, a small wedding? Like, what why are you bringing that? No, I'm just asking you. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Mhm.
Oh, I need a big one because if depending on how they answer that question, you know what you're getting into. Oh, the ring better be like, depending on that answer, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with asking questions up front.
I had a girl tell me one time, she was like, "Why you asking me about marriage on the first date?" Like, all right, there goes my viewpoint on how long this about to last.
Right.
That it's like,
Right.
if it's the first date, obviously you're getting to know each other.
Right.
So if we're getting to know each other, I should know what your values are in life.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want out of a relationship? Like, isn't this
Right.
what we're doing here? Like,
No.
what's the point?
No, this is fun.
You just want free food, or like, what's the point?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, I thought this was understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, this goes into a whole different thing, but there needs to be intention with dating.
Yeah.
So if you're not even having the mindset, then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You just want a boyfriend? You just want something temporary to, like
Mm-hmm.
keep a placeholder until the next situation? If you're not going into it with the mindset of marriage as your goal, then what are you really doing?
Wasting time.
Yeah, and that's that's a good question to find out real early.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the first date you brought it up. Okay, so I see where your head is at.
Right, and clearly that didn't last long because I married to someone else. Right, so
Yeah, so which is a good thing.
Right.
So everything works out as it should. So there's definitely not a bad question to ask somebody. First date, couple questions. The
It's
ring,
not.
wedding, that type of. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
And I mean, I feel like you should embrace men asking these type of questions because it's showing us
major.
it's showing us how serious we are with wanting to be married one day, how serious we are with settling down. And if some way, somehow you offended by that question early on, it's like, all right, you see where your headset is, where your mindset is.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think a lot would be offended. And that's sad because they're like, why are you even bringing it up? Oh, you crazy? Instead of you made a good point
Mm-hmm.
because a man is thinking, like, I'm not trying to be out here like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are your intentions, basically?
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals? What are you bringing here that we can build on together? What's common here? Like, I have a goal of marriage. I'm not saying 100% it's going to be you, but I
Right.
need to know where you stand with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If that freaks you out or scares you, you don't need to even pursue any type of marriage.
Yeah,
That's a good tell.
because like we're not getting younger, right? And men, if we know what we want, we know what we want, and we're not gonna. We hate wasting our time, and women,
Yep.
truly a woman, she doesn't like wasting her time either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like at that point, what are we doing?
Yeah,
You
but
know?
that's the thing. There's men, there's boys, there's women, and there's girls.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of girls perpetrating to being women, a lot of boys perpetrating to be men, and that's where that miscommunication comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Because you bring that to a woman, she's like, oh, okay, well, this is what I think about it.
Yeah.
Not even be phased.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's probably been dealing or coming across boys so much, it's going to be refreshing. Like, oh, you actually asked me about that
Right,
because you're
yeah,
actually
yeah.
thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because most boys aren't thinking about marriage and settling down. They want to run around. So
Yeah. And some like girls talking about girls compared to women, like girls probably want to, I want to say like running around, but
no, they want to run around.
yeah. Well, all right.
Say, don't
Yeah.
you ain't got sugarcoat it.
All right, not to
let's
beat around
be
the
real.
bush about
yeah,
it.
Yeah, let's be real.
They want to live their best life right now, quote unquote. They want
Hot girl summer.
hot girl summer.
24/7.
Yeah. They want the free meals. They want to see what they can get out of guys.
Yeah.
Right, the meals, the gifts.
Yeah.
What you buying for me, cutting checks. It's the difference between a woman and a girl. So
Yo, this might be half off, but I read something about well, if a man
Mhm.
takes me out, he needs to like buy my outfit too.
Huh?
I said, where are we going? like it's
Buy your
it's just
outfit.
getting worse and worse at this point. Like you can't even make it to dinner without an outfit.
This is the first date, or
Yeah. No, it's just like a post, and everybody's like, "Yeah, you tell them." I was like, "Yo, what is happening out here?"
so? I I don't know.
No, I don't care. First date, I don't care if it's a 10th date. You don't need to buy her an outfit for her to come to go out.
And what if you don't
Dude.
like just giving her the money for the outfit, or like,
I didn't go that deep into it. I was just I just looked at the post and I was like, wow, this is where we at now. This is where we at.
at that point that's begging, like, you know, if you don't got it like that, then just say that.
It is, but the way it's reversed is, oh, I can't date you because you're a bum. You understand how the mentality is switched out here?
Superficial.
It's bam.
Going back to that.
Bam. Yeah. The beginning and ending.
Well, yeah, that's clear difference between women, girls, like you said, and men and boys. So
It's sad.
take that how you want.
Yay.